Hey YouTube, welcome back. Donnie here. Today I just wanted to share kind of a hodgepodge of pre-war cards and other memorabilia that I picked up over the last few years from a variety of sources. So I'll go over these, kind of talk about the players a little bit, maybe share some stories or some little tidbits of trivia about them, and just enjoy looking at some pre-war cards. So first up is a 1934 to 36 batter up of Hall of Fame catcher Rick Farrell. This is from the high number series of the batter ups, and it's I guess the black tint variation of that. So a little bit smaller than the low series of the batter ups. Rick Farrell isn't a high end inner circle Hall of Famer by any means. He was kind of borderline Hall of Fame worthy, but nevertheless, this is my only batter up. I really love this set. I'd love to put this whole set together someday, but this was the first one I picked up at a Nashville card show, I think last year. So there's 34-36 batter up Rick Farrell. Next up is a kind of an oddball. It's a pin that I picked up again at a Nashville card show. Maybe a little bit hard to see there in the camera, but it's Lou Chiozza, who didn't have a particularly eventful major league career by any means. His WAR was only about 2.3 total, and he played a handful of years, Philadelphia, New York. But when I found this in a bargain bin for like $10, $5 or $10. But when I got to researching him a little bit, I found out that he had died in Memphis, and I grew up outside of Memphis all through grade school and high school. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Passing away in my kind of hometown. And next up is a 1911 Z-Nut of George Cutshaw. And this card I got actually from Net 54 Secret Santa a year or two ago. So this is a pre-rookie card of George Cutshaw with the Oakland Oaks and the Pacific Coast League. These are blank back, put out by the Z-Nuts Candy Company. But Cutshaw went on to have a reasonable career, playing for Brooklyn and Pittsburgh and a little bit for Detroit. Had a 16.3 career WAR, 265 batting average. So not star or Hall of Fame caliber, but still a decent major league career. Now the next two are actually autographs that I also got through Net 54 Secret Santa within the last year or so. And the first one is Dutch Zwilling. You see this is an autographed index card. There's Zwilling. So Zwilling played only basically 2 full years and then a couple years or partial years, all with Chicago teams, the Cubs, White Sox, and then the 2 middle years with the Chicago Federal League team. And actually he has an OPS plus of 134, so that's pretty amazing. Career batting average of 284. So even though he had a very short career, seems like he was probably a pretty good player. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting, that pre-war autograph. And I have another pre-war autograph here. Again, same deal, received in a Net 54 Secret Santa package. This is Jimmy Archer And Jimmy Archer played mostly for the Chicago Cubs. He had a pretty long stint there with the Chicago Cubs as a catcher, all through, I guess, from 1909 till about 1917. So he was there when the Cubs were just really loaded with all their star power there in the early 1900s. He ended up his career with a 10.3 WAR. Not a great batting average or anything, but it sounds like it was a solid player. So this is a cut signature of his pasted onto an index card. So again, I thought that was kind of a neat little piece of memorabilia. And now the next three cards I also got in a Net 54 Secret Santa gift. And these are not baseball cards, but they're actually British soccer cards from 1906 Ogden's football club. So these show the players in their team jerseys. So this is Notts County team there. Having a little trouble focusing there. And then there is one of the Stoke team. So a solid red jersey. And then Queen's Park. So these are the only three cards I have of this set. Kind of interesting. Maybe someday I'll pick up the rest of this set and build it. Some of the other collectors out there who collect non-baseball cards may be more familiar with these. Maybe Ryan Nolan, for instance. Anyway, I just think they're interesting. It looks like you can pick these up fairly inexpensively if you're overseas, but here in the States they can be a little pricey, especially if they're graded. And these are all pretty nice, so I might consider getting them graded one day. Okay, next up is the oldest card in my collection. It's a card from the N172 Old Judge cards from the late 1800s, 1886 to 1890. I bought this off of Net 54 several years ago. It's a Dell Darling. Catching pose there. I believe this has been skinned and rebacked based on that damage on the left border there, but nevertheless it's pretty good picture quality. So a lot of these are faded and just don't have a very good image on them, but this one's pretty good. You can see back, so it looks like it's been probably rebacked. Anyway, there, another Chicago player from the Old Judge set, late 1800s, Dell Darling. And then next up is a T207 card or two from the Brown Borders set. This is Claude Derrick, and it looks like he had a wholly uneventful major league career. I might have gotten this one in a Net 54 Secret Santa package too. You can see the tape damage at the bottom there. It's one of just a couple of Brown Borders that I have. But what I like about these are the backs. They have pretty good bios. Then the cigarette advertisement, of course, there too. Anyway, that's Claude Derrick. And then the next one is Jack Lapp. This one's a bit better condition. Still from the T207 set. Played for Philadelphia. See it there. And in the back, recruit brand back. And a good little bio right up there on him. He had a little bit better career, 8.8 career WAR, OPS of plus of 104. Played pretty much his whole career with Philadelphia, with last year playing for the White Sox. Okay, I'm back. Rearranged a little bit to make room for these next few cards. So next up are some T205s, starting with Ed Lennox. So I love the T205 set. If I was smart, I'd probably started this set rather than the T206 set. This one's much more affordable, easier to complete, just a lot fewer cards, a lot fewer expensive cards in it. The backs on these are great because they have not only the bio, but they also start having stats in addition to the cigarette company advertisements. So Ed Lennox had an OPS plus of 126 and a career WAR of 8.2. So decent but short career. That's the first one. Next up is Fred Parent, who actually had a really solid major league career. Career WAR of almost 36. So getting up there in the star category. Career batting average of 262, OPS plus of 99. Now this one does have, looks like some residue on the back where it was in a scrapbook or something. Might be able to soak that off at some point, but probably just easier to buy a different copy of this if I ever want one. But that is Fred Parent, the T205 set. And next up is Bobby Byrne. He had a career WAR of about 14 over quite a few seasons spanning from 1907 to 1917 with a variety of teams. But this is his card in the T205 set with the Pirates. See, quite a bit of edge wear was pretty common with the T205s. But a nice legible back there. And then finally, have the only graded T205 in my collection. This is Otis Crandall. This is the T-crossed variant, so you can see here in his name, the T in Otis does have the line through it. There's a version that doesn't have that as well. And I used to have that one, but I sold it, I believe, or traded it away. So he had a career WAR of almost 21. He was a pitcher, had a winning career record, 2.92 ERA. Played for a variety of teams, 1908 to 1916. And there's the back. It's a polar bear back, which I love polar bears. And the T206 set. So figured I'd get a T206 or T205 polar bear back as well. So that is the last of the T205s that I have in my collection right now. Okay, so I've got 3 more items up here for tonight for you guys. And they're really cool, I think. The next 2 I received as Net 54 Secret Santa gifts. And they're not cards, they're memorabilia from the pre-war days. The first of those is this newspaper clipping from 1926. And I'll let you read the headline there. Cobb has perfect day at plate as Yanks lose 14-10. 2 homers included in play, Senators moving a lead. So in this game, Ty Cobb came to bat 4 times. He got 4 hits, including 2 home runs. So that's pretty cool. But then if you go on down here, you can see the whole box score of the lineup. And if you notice there for the Yankees, you have both Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and what they did that game. And so in this game, at least, Ty Cobb and the Tigers beat the Yankees' ass. So that's kind of cool. And the next item here is also a newspaper clipping. This is from 1916, and it's the Boston Red Sox team photo. And if you'll pay attention here, number 24 on the picture there in the front row, dead center, that's Babe Ruth. So this is from Babe Ruth's very early days in the majors with the Red Sox as a pitcher. And it's technically not a card, but it's, I guess, my only actually playing days image of Ruth that I have in my collection so far. So someday I'll have some more Babe Ruth cards, hopefully, but right now that serves as my Babe Ruth card. And last up is a card I bought several years ago off of Net54. I think I paid like $125 to $150 for this. It's low grade, but it's from probably my favorite set of all time, the T3 Turkey Reds. And that's Larry Doyle there. He was a second baseman, and actually a pretty solid second baseman for the New York Giants. So he played John McGraw and Christy Mathewson and a lot of other star players from that era. He had a career WAR of 45.1, an OPS plus of 126, career batting average of 290, almost 1,900 hits, won a batting title, won an MVP. So he was a really solid player, definitely star player. You can see on the back it's a checklist back. So it's low grade because of the tackle up there above the card number 13. A bit more of a pinhole than a pinhole. It's definitely a tack hole. But that's okay because that made it affordable. And to get a beautiful card from, in my opinion, the most beautiful set ever made. So one day I'll get some more from this set, maybe even complete the set. But for right now, that is my one and only T3 Turkey Red. So there you have it. That's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed looking through all those various cards from the pre-war era. There's just a ton of sets back from that era that are worth collecting. A lot of really interesting players, stories behind the players. So someday I'll venture more deeply into those sets, especially the T205 and T3 Turkey Red and the batter ups. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Be happy to chat about these pre-war cards some more. Thanks again. Talk to you later.